Hi everyone, my name is Monica Watson and I'm the Marketing Specialist here at Greenfield Belser. I will be helping to moderate our discussion today. I'd like to welcome you to another webinar in our Brand Thinking series. Today's webinar is titled No Signal Strength, Why Your Videos Fail to Communicate. As we get ready to start, please make sure that all of your phones are muted, as this will prevent any background noises and ensure that everyone can hear the full presentation. We hope to make this as interactive as possible, so please feel free to ask any questions of our speaker by chatting them directly into the GoToWebinar chat window. We will also have time at the end to address any questions that we may have missed. Finally, I'd like to encourage everyone to join us via social media. We will be tweeting from our own GBLTD handle using the hashtag GBWebinar. Leading the presentation today is Burkey Belser, President of Greenfield Belser, and with that said, I'll hand it off to him.
All right, great. I'd like to welcome you here today and echo Monica's welcome as well, and also her invitation for you to ask questions throughout. So we find that if we create a much more conversational webinar, I think we all enjoy it much more as well. A couple of other details. I am going to let some of the videos in this presentation, and there are 21 videos here, run completely through. Others I'll just cut off. But what I really am looking for is that you be mindful of your emotional response to these videos, because that's really everything lies there. Your response, I guarantee you, is going to be pretty much the same as others in terms of their acceptance or of the video itself. So there'll be another detail that we'll be doing. We're going to have to adjust the volume of the videos because we've got them from so many different sources, and we'll see that we can, hopefully we'll be able to manage this well. Finally, my goal is to give you practical advice. There are many of us out there that are increasingly do-it-yourselfers. I would like to draw a bright line between what can be done yourself and what needs to be done with real professionals. And there are a number of issues here. One of them, of course, is the amount of equipment, not to mention the experience and the staff that you need in order to pull this off. A single videographer with an iPhone or even an upgraded camera is not necessarily your answer to video. Okay, so good. Let's get started. So we're calling this No Signal Strength, Why Videos Fail to Communicate. And we're going to share, we've broken this up into four broad categories. One is begin at the beginning. We're going to talk about how one needs to think about the whole process and where to start and why and when one should have video on their site and what that video should be doing. We're going to urge you to follow the trends, pay attention to some of the research that we'll share with you. And as usual, when Greenfield Belser offers research, our goal is first of all, obviously, to inform you, but to hope that you'll be able to use that video for others, that research for others, so that they can, your management could say, okay, you know what, you're right, we need to invest in this. Obviously, the heart and soul of this thing is our fundamentals for great video. And then finally, I want to show you a very exciting example of a site that we just launched that has a tremendous, it's all video. It's amazing. And I think that it's bold. Who knows whether it'll work, but it's bold, and we should pay attention to this kind of direction because it's so far afield from where you are now. All right, let's begin at the beginning. You may have seen, some of you, this particular illustration. We had done a survey of the AmLaw 250 law firms and reconstructed a prototypical law firm website out of this, but we find the same thing across accounting firms and other associations, even where we're looking at this kind of model where you've got across the marquee, you've got individuals on the marquee. Now women are starting to invade appropriately enough, and others with a tagline, something like "You can trust us," as well, followed by a three-part design below that begins, welcome to us, here's news about us, and more stuff about us. It's basically me, me, me. We call them gorillograms, but what we're really interested in is speaking more about not just us, but about client issues, and that'll be a sub-theme throughout all of this. But the most important thing here is that if you look at this site, there's nothing here that tells you, other than you can trust us, which is a claim, why in the world you should work with this firm. What is their brand? What are they trying to communicate? What is this all about? So it's the same as if the Campbell soup can did not have the label on it. The can without the brand is just soup. So we need to know what you stand for. There are a host of associations when one looks at a Campbell's soup brand about the quality of the soup that's inside the can. That's the first place to start. So we could say, and we really want to emphasize that communication should begin with a purpose. I realize that that sounds incredibly obvious, but if you look around to most of the work that's done out there, communication materials, you'll find that, in fact, there seems to be no obvious purpose at all. Here's a website that we redesigned later, but I wanted to show you the original, and I wanted to show you the redesign because they're smart enough to redesign. They understand this. Great firm, small firm. But if you looked at this original site, it's a web presence, but that's all it is. The redesigned site speaks directly to its target audience of small companies that move in the 3 stages from startup to growth, expansion, and to sale. This is evident in the homepage. Now we know what this firm stands for and how they can help me and why I should care about working with them. So that's your first step. When I say begin at the beginning, that's what I mean. Same thing here for Burkey Belser, an extraordinarily well-respected plaintiff's firm in California and New York. And this original site was redesigned by us. But the point being is that you couldn't tell right now, looking at the site, what they stood for. However, when they redesigned it, we put right on the marquee a video that explains what these people are all about and what they're passionate about. So take a look at the site design. It's very Swiss, very clean, very open, very white. But if you go inside, I'm going to show you a video. We're going to step inside, launch this video, and show you a little bit of the video, not the whole thing. So we can see that we've got the same design of the video that reflects the design of the website itself. So let's launch the video and listen up.
Martin Luther King said that the universe tends toward justice. The trajectory of the universe tends toward justice. But I believe that it is a human engine that drives it there.
Justice is aspirational. No amount of money can restore your health if you've been seriously injured, and no amount of jail time can restore your life savings if it's been stolen from you.
In many ways, justice serves as my moral compass. Given the facts and circumstances, do I think that an injustice has been committed?
At bottom, it means that someone whose rights have been violated has the ability and opportunity to obtain a fair hearing and a fair resolution, redressing the injury that they've suffered, regardless of how rich or powerful those who caused the injury are.
So we could just stop here. Notice that this was all shot on green screen, which enabled us to get that bright white. You really cannot get that bright white, but we're shooting on a white background. So just a technical detail to be noted. But what is really important about it is that the passion of the individuals who work at the firm, the name partners and the other leading partners within the firm, really communicate their passion but they're not selling anything. They're not selling their services. They're talking about why they do what they do. It's a very different approach is to say, we can do this, we can do that, we're the best in everything. So moving on. Most of us in the work that we do in the communications are stuck with words, which is the least efficient but most persistent form of communication. It's obvious that when you're talking with most professional services, but also when you look at the way that we just learn to communicate anyway, we're told to write papers in high school, write papers in college, and just essentially write what we read. But that's not the most efficient way to communicate. And you look at this page that we captured from Skadden, absolutely, obviously, terrific firm. This is not meant as a critique of Skadden. It's meant as a critique of the communication strategy that uses words as their only way to communicate. So I want to share with you an analogy that I'm sure many of you have heard too. That page that we just saw from Skadden is as if you went into a cafeteria and piled on your plate a giant helping of mashed potatoes and called it a balanced meal. It is not. What we really need to do is add tables, maps, lists, and charts to create a balanced communication strategy. And we can add to this video a balanced communication strategy in order to get the points across that we're trying to make with our clients. Now, the leap from words all the way to video is huge, but we can create a bridge. Imagery, charts, graphs, and even the motion on your site are a bridge to video. So I don't want you to forget that this is an option for you as well. Let's look at a site by Dow Lonis. This firm recently merged with Cooley in the main. So what I want to show is you're right on the home page. The site is organized by industry. You click on the inside, and it opens the page up immediately. You go to another industry, and it gives you another introduction. The idea is it's not a wall of words. We're telling the story, as you can see, with maps and tables and graphs and pictures of the partners and other lists and the like that make that page immediately and easily scannable. It's engaging right from the get-go. That's the way to communicate. If it were a wall of words, you'd have been gone in a heartbeat. But people were exploring this site before the merger, exploring the site and using it effectively. All right, so now, with that background set up and understanding that, I really want you to think about brand as one of your takeaways, and I also want you to think about communicating differently, not just words, but adding other elements to your communication strategy so that you're communicating more effectively. Let's look at what people are doing now with their behavior on the internet in particular. Obviously, the old media mix is breaking apart. 50% of Americans consider their computer an equal option to watching TV. You know that yourself. You're watching your own behavior evolve. But what's interesting, we find, and the reason that we do periodic research every couple of years, is because we know that people actually don't necessarily pay attention to how evolved they have become in their habits and activities. We're learning, for example, and it's not surprising, that Gen Y, or millennials, it's hard to say, millennials has the highest percentage using the web to watch video, but the same percentage of Gen X do so. What's important, I think, to your buyers who may tend to be older, is that almost half of young boomers watch online video. So behavior is changing, and if you'll look at this next chart, you'll see that we're moving along, stepping up every single year from, in this case, 2008 to 2014, as online viewership of videos persistently increases. So we know that it's a medium of the future. We just have to figure out how we're going to use it. How do we make it work for us? But let's look more at the details. So here's from Dr. James McQuivey of Forrester Research that 1.8 million words is the value of 1 minute of video. Another, 75%. That's the percentage of executives who told Forbes they watch work-related videos on business websites at least once a week. And the results break down to 50% watch business-related videos on YouTube, 65%, this would make any marketer's heart pump faster, visit the marketer's website after viewing a video. 59%, according to Forbes Insight, is the percentage of senior executives who'd rather watch a video than read text. Who wouldn't? About 50% of those who viewed an online marketing video went on to make a purchase for their business. So we're looking at behavior that, if we pay attention to it, probably resonates with your own. And so we need to adjust our marketing tactics to it. Forrester Marketing Group surveyed businesses in 2010 and found that when marketers included a marketing or explainer video in an email, the click-through rate increased by 200 to 300%. So rather than just simply thinking about your recruiting site, think about video differently throughout your site. And really, I'm encouraging you to do this. I'm going to take you out of your site, and you'll learn for a second in just a minute its value in email. But if you move it around, if I'm not thinking a 3-minute video of the managing partner talking about the firm, okay, but I'm thinking about something else where quick, this is how we do this, or let me help you understand this particular process in, say, patent prosecution, you name it. And it's less than a minute. Our ideal is 45 seconds long. If I'm somewhere in that space, I'm going to actually get more engagement on my site. So one online marketer reported a 51% increase in subscriber lead conversion rates when video was included in an email marketing campaign. Whoa, email. Email marketing, video in the same spot. Think about that. That's a tremendous way of engaging your readers and getting them, and you're not even on your website. Yes, you're obviously online, but you're not on your website. So more video is inevitable, but getting yours watched and remembered is not. And if we look at the samples of what's out there throughout the web generally, and particularly in professional services categories, it's deja vu all over again. Now, I want to show you a quick clip partially from WilmerHale. I have to emphasize, I want to be really clear. It's a spectacular firm. That is not my issue. But I'm looking at this as indicative of, and I want you to see it as indicative of what's on websites everywhere. So forgive me, WilmerHale. Let's just simply look at this briefly.
When I arrived at WilmerHale, I came in with an expectation that, WilmerHale had this reputation of being a place that had a very collegial atmosphere, that where people were interesting individuals and excited about the work they were doing. But there may have been part of me that was a little skeptical about whether or not it would meet that expectation. And it's been a pleasant surprise.
I'm sure this is a lovely woman, and I'm sure she believes everything that she says. But I quickly found myself lost and uninterested at the talking head that was coming straight at me in this form. And we'll see a little bit more as we learn more about the stats, about this kind of behavior. But I want you, once again, emotionally, just be mindful of how you respond. Others may have found this to be great. It lost me. Let's take another one. So here we are at Ropes and Gray. Need I say it? It's an extraordinary firm. Not dinging the firm. We're looking at what we see as normal kind of material. So this is Ropes and Gray, unscripted. The category is collaboration. That's what this is about. This is a label. And the idea is that this is also a benefit. In other words, a benefit of working with the firm, that we're going to get collaboration. But that remains unsaid as we launch this video.
The first day I came into Ropes interviewing as a lateral associate.
Okay, stop. The piano, it's like not going to. So the choice of your background music, and almost inevitably there is background of some sort and background music of some sort. And of course, unless you've got your own composer on staff or nearby or are willing to pay for it, you're going to grab something off iStock or some version of that. But we have to think about what we're trying to achieve with this video and what we're trying to achieve emotionally with the firm and how we want to feel about it. Is that the pace that you want for your firm there? So I'm going to suggest that it doesn't do it for me, and I'm just going to, I'll leave it at that. It's my personal opinion. All right. So let's look at why this kind of video occurs. And then just, my goal is, let's be real. The first thing is my budget sucks. I mean, I know you don't have great budgets to do great videography. And so the result is that people hire an in-house videographer, particularly with larger firms, and they do it originally to capture the webinars or the meetings that partners might have, whether it's a law firm or accounting firm or otherwise. And then it's very natural, because I've got the resource, that we figured that this person could make marketing videos too, and we find out that the result is really not all that satisfied. But the truth of it is, if we are to look at that and turn these 5 points on their head, we discover that we are not invested in great video. That, like my parents coming back from the Caribbean, that a videographer is not necessarily who records meetings, is not necessarily your creative videographer. Yeah, they were there to capture the webinars originally, but we're starting to learn that marketing greatness is a far cry from simply reporting or recording events. And the result is, yeah, I know, you get what you pay. So let's think about how we can do this differently. So explain some fundamentals of great video. One point that I want to make really quickly as we get into this is that, hey, it ain't cheap. If you really want to do this well, you've got to have multiple cameras, tons of equipment, the proper audio equipment, etc. So we haul all of this to a typical shoot, and we're actually getting a lot of what we get locally as well in order to bulk up and get the material that we need to do a proper video shoot. One person with a video camera is not going to make a great video no matter what you do. Now, you can do really creative and fun videos with an iPhone that totally have a place on your website, but they're a different animal and they are what they are. If we're trying to get better quality videos, it's a different story. So once. Okay, I want to look and make this point again about brevity. Brevity isn't just courteous, it's smart. So we learned from research that you only have 10 seconds to grab the attention of viewers in a video marketing clip. 10 seconds, that's actually a long, long time. So if you are watching a video for 10, like I don't think I got to the ropes video through 10 seconds of the ropes video. So according to research by Visible Measures, 20% of your viewers will click away from a video within 10 seconds or fewer, 33% are gone by 30 seconds, 45% by a minute, and then 60% by 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, 5 minutes. No matter how long your video is, 60% of folks are gone. So it's a marketing video clip. They have no particular reason to hang around and hear in depth everything you have to tell them about your practice or your services. So shorter is better. We use the 45-second rule, and that rule allows us to be somewhere in the middle. We know we're going to lose some people, and that's why we really strive to engage people in the video itself. All right, now, all of this means we need to develop a creative driving concept to frame the videos. They have to mean something. It cannot just be because they're on our website, people want to watch them or will endure them. So I want to give you a fairly complex and complete example of work that we've done for Choate, 175, 200 lawyer firm in Boston, absolutely terrific firm. The brand that was launched for them 7 or so years ago began with By Any Measure, and that was because they're competing with large, in this case, bland firms, but no, large firms like Bingham, Goodwin Procter, et cetera, in the Boston area. Choate is a single office firm intentionally. But what they want to say is against these large firms, Choate delivers an intensity and other benefits that you're not going to get from the large firms. And believe me, their per partner profits are just fine. Thank you very much. They're doing quite well. And they need to be increasingly visible in that high-level cadre of students that come out of Harvard and elsewhere in the Boston area in particular, but also around the country. And they do recruit around the country. The site was redesigned recently, continuing this By Any Measure using the measuring tape and with a number of key messages like high stakes, etc. The recruiting site was also redesigned, and you'll see soon to be designed again, consolidated a whole bunch of videos into Choate TV. But I want to take you to the Wayback Machine. So we're looking at Choate 5 years ago, where we launched in a single fell swoop 28 different videos on Choate's site, reshaping their recruiting page entirely around video. It was dynamic, it was exciting, it was an amazing, really leap forward from what had been done prior to this. So take a look at the site and the structure of it now. It's modeled on YouTube, and in the marquee there, you see commercials, and we're going to see one of those very soon. We did 4 commercials. We did something like 16 different individual videos of summer associates, as well as longtime associates, young partners, older partners, and the like were part of this mix. But each of them had a driving concept within the whole driving concept of the YouTube presentation in the first place. So remember, the goal is By Any Measure, so the commercials, as they were, the first of 4, began with Choate versus Megafirm, and this one's called Focused. And the individual in the suit is in the dark suit is Megaferm, and the young gal in the red dress is going to be Choate. So let's play this, and you'll get a sense of how this can be successful.
Hey, Megaferm.
Oh, hey, Choate.
What's with the bag?
Work, of course.
I thought we were on vacation.
We are. I like to call it a working vacation.
Short leash, huh? Isn't vacation supposed to be a break from work?
Not at Megafirm.
I keep in touch with the office too, but the rest of my team keeps things moving when I'm out.
Really? That's amazing.
So, you ready to go to the beach and have some fun?
You bet.
Like that?
Oh, yeah, right.
You're a wild man.
Don't I know it?
Wow. So at no point was I uninterested in watching this thing that went on for well over a minute. And it had me engaged. It was making its point. And I felt like what a delightful place this might be to work. So what's the formula for success here? Well, the brand and the vision. So I've got to start with that. I had a budget. And it wasn't an extraordinary budget, but it was a budget. You know, I don't think we can do it for that now, but we did it because we really wanted this to work. We used actors. We all know that we can only get so far with our own professionals. So if we have a driving concept and we can manage to to hire actors for this, they're going to deliver the script beautifully. And the difference, you only have to work with actors to know the difference between working with non-actors and actors. There's a dedicated director to the entire program for these particular commercials. Is different for the different director than what you see for what's upcoming. And of course, smart editing makes that work throughout. So that was one of the types of videos on that site. Here's another. This particular case, we asked Summers to come in. Every one of these things took about a half an hour, 40 minutes at the worst. Come in, tell us something about yourself that you want to share with others. People would come in prepared with a little bit of a story, but boy, believe me, it wasn't crafted. So our goal was to, as I often say, turn somebody from SpongeBob into Laurence Olivier inside of 15 minutes and have them be able to deliver in a compelling way their short presentation. We're not selling. Once again, just important, really, really important. It's about authenticity. It's not about selling. So here we go.
Hello, my name is Michael Oliviero. I grew up in Cape Elizabeth, Maine. I currently go to law school at Emory University School of Law in Atlanta, which has been great because last year I joined a Swedish folk duo called Krona, which is now, since my joining, become a Swedish folk trio, and we sing a mixture of songs that are kind of as if Mr. Rogers and John Denver got together and decided to write some great music. But don't worry, I'm not going to sing for you.
Okay, it's only meant to be charming. Is it even slightly silly? Well, maybe, but you know what? That's the risk that you're taking in favor of being engaging and really communicating and reaching out to your viewer. In this particular case, by the way, this guy was a tremendous success. I think got offers of marriage as a result of his appearance on this video. So what makes this successful? Once again, brand and vision. Tiny budget. It wasn't the budget. It's tiny, tiny budget. We rolled in a single day. We rolled all 16 in, something like that, in order to get these cuts going. We used employees. We didn't use actors. We prepared. Yeah, we didn't prepare as much as we'd hoped, but you're never going to get anybody prepared that way because they don't know what they're in for. And then you had an engaged director who was able to bring out of those individuals their personality and craft the story on the fly that could then be edited sharply in the end. You'll notice that was not a single edit in that. And the goal was that there'd be no cutaways, there'd be no B-roll in order to manage the poor quality, that we actually get it in a single take. All right, I want to show you another couple of videos that are on this section of the website. One is archival footage. And I want to show you this because we've got a couple of examples here. This is straight up archival footage. All we did was add the clips, the cards that are in front of this. But I want to just show you how simple it is. There's no audio, there's no sound, there's no There's no anything. It's just the clips. It's a silent film. But it didn't cost us anything. The boss you fear you won't find here. The coast is clear. Totally simple. What's your formula for success? Imagination. That's it. Now, here's another one. Follow the bouncing ball. Okay, is that insane? Yeah, but that's partially the point, is that we're willing to be out there, and that's part of our culture. And I'm not saying, as a talking head in front of the camera, hey, this is a really cool culture. We're really willing to be out there. They'll listen to me. They share my, it's love and laughter within the firm. Now, but we prove it. We demonstrate it by putting this image up there on this video up there on the firm. What's our formula for success? Imagination. That's it. Here's another piece of archival footage that's also just simply delightful. Find mouse.
Are you excited about going to work today, honey?
Uh-uh.
You should have taken that job at Choate.
Uh-huh.
Do you see it getting any better?
Uh-uh.
This is what makes this all successful. And once again, it didn't cost anything. It's formula success for success was. Now, finally, on the site, we've got outtakes. So these are the marketing partners here. There's a straight up version of this on the site where they are selling the firm. That's what they're trying to do. But they also posted these outtakes with the delightful headline that's "Do not look at these outtakes," of course, which is what people are exactly going to do. But it gives you some sense that these people are human beings and not just talking.
My vocal exercises before I started.
I told John yesterday that you all are going to have to be hiring partners for the next at least like 5 years.
So you have to do this again? CGI somebody.
Photoshop.
Are you ready?
Oh,
Take 3.
Remember my own name. Huge improvement.
Thank you for visiting. I'm sorry. Thanks for visiting Choate's career page. My name is Mike Kaufman, and I'm the firm's Director of Recruiting.
My name is Melissa Tierney.
So when you've decided that we're the right place for you, give us a call.
Awful.
It just simply creates a laugh every single time, and you're really engaged with those people. Formula for success, imagination. That's it. So how did this work for Choate? Well, the callback ratio, that is to say the number of students who agreed to come to visit the firm, increased from 54 to 87%. Huge. The bleed ratio, which is the number rejecting the offers, decreased by 2.5%, allowing the firm to quickly move up the class ranks to appeal to better performing students. In addition to that, this entire site was profiled in the Wall Street Journal, the New York Times, the London Times, the Singapore Times, etc., all the sister papers that picked up the story about how interesting you could actually create a recruiting site. Every single student who came to visit the firm on campus had been to the site. So virally, it moved quickly throughout campuses, so that people, when they were looking at it, immediately had a favorable impression of the firm itself. So now, that's not going to continue forever. We can't just leave those videos up. We've got to have new ideas. To reemphasize, a great video begins not with a camera, but with ideas and a script in mind. And in order to create new ideas for new videos, a lot of ideas are rejected or salted away for next year. In this particular case, for example, we'll sometimes grab images in our creative sessions and say, okay, here's a technique that we could use. We could isolate color. Red is Choate's color. We could have the films be black and white and isolate color. Well, we chose not to do that, but what the point is that we're constantly exploring ideas, new ways of making this fresh. So we agree on a plan and to improve on and hopefully expand the original idea. So what you're going to see in the coming months is a new Choate recruiting section here that's got a new strategy behind it, where we've got individuals in front of a red wall, and they're actually photographed, and you'll see in a sec, photographed in front of a red wall. We painted the wall red. We got a much larger room this time, put red carpet on the floor, so it's an entire red environment. And we're incorporating typography in the videos themselves, so the typography will stay up while while we get fast clips of individuals going throughout the site. So going throughout the video. It's another approach, and it needs to be carefully planned. So every detail about how it was going to launch, how the site was going to be put together, was all carefully detailed throughout here, so that the client and we understood how we were going to deliver the site, how we were going to deliver the videos. By the way, I want to make a point here. You don't have to have the video do everything for you. You don't need a long introduction to the video. In fact, frankly, you don't need an introduction at all in most cases, because the site itself delivers the framework for understanding what the video is all about. So you can get right into it, and that gives you an leg up on that valuable 10-second window in which you need to engage your visitors. So here we are 2 weeks ago shooting our partners and associates against a red wall with red carpeting, to be seen soon on Shutter. All right, now, next. I want to connect the idea of connecting left brain to right brain, creative with your consultative brain, your legal brain, your accounting brain, etc. All of that, so that how do we bring the two together? Deloitte has done a spectacular job in this great video about Born to Consult. It's a smart idea. I'm going to not play the whole thing, but play a lot of it for you. Here's a 12-year-old who's actually going to really interview applicants for jobs at Deloitte. And we'll see, it's a great idea. We'll see how it throws them. On Deloitte's site, there are interviewing tips, lots of information to preview this, but then no one ever expected to come in and find this. So this, obviously child actor, so are you born to consult? Here we go, let's take a look.
Morning, Ted. Hi.
Good morning.
I'm Billy, and I'll be interviewing you today. Hi. I'm just going to ask you some easy questions. How old are you? Where'd you grow up? And what school did you go to?
Okay. I grew up in Poughkeepsie, New York.
I'm 24. First in class high school, first in class Northwestern, and first in class Stern. Do you have a younger sister? Why do you want to consult?
I like to help companies run smoother and more efficiently.
I'm in it for the hotel points. Suppose the supply of candy bars goes up, but production of candy bars hasn't increased. What does that tell us about the price of nougat in China?
What are you, 10?
No, I'm 12.
Nice monkey mug, little dude.
Oh, thanks, man. I'll say a word and you say it. Pencil.
Banana.
Water.
Paperclip.
Calculate the odds. 10 seconds. Take it apart and put it back together.
Really? Global connectivity. Blue Sky Initiative. Alan Greenspan.
You don't see shareholder value? You want to know what my favorite word is in consulting?
I could watch this forever. I don't know about you, but it's delightful. It's fun. It's a great concept. And it's also delivering a lot of information about Deloitte, not just as a place to work, and that they take themselves seriously, as we could see some of the questions that were being asked, but obviously not too seriously. So, once again, like the Choate commercials, this is fully scripted, fully designed piece that's unlike using our professionals, but the difference in impact is huge. So next, be authentic. We've talked a lot about authenticity. Authenticity is the goal in all of this. If we're selling, we're dead. We've got to somehow communicate authenticity. Here's a great example of a managing partner. Talk about born to consult, who was born to be on a video. Did a beautiful, Jay Zimmerman does a beautiful job in this, and I'll play a little bit of this to see how this is what you can only hope for from your managing
The firm is a totally different firm than it was a number of years ago. We are, constantly changing because the market requires us to constantly change. So if you look back to where we were 10, 12 years ago, we were, again, a much smaller firm, but that's only part of the story. We were far less geographically diverse, far less diverse in terms of our practices, and far less diverse basically in terms of our talent. And what we've really been able to accomplish over the last, it's really 12 to 14 years or so, is to really, I think, develop as the markets have required. Critical mass in terms of our significant practice groups is absolutely essential. The clients are looking for different things than they were looking to before. If you think about this kind of in the context of the past, what our clients were looking for were lawyers who would do most of their legal work and primarily do that legal work for them. In today's world, what you have is a far more sophisticated consumer. And when
Did you see a cutaway in that? I didn't. So he managed to pull that off beautifully, carrying his point throughout, so he knew what he was doing. But like I said, that's a tough act to follow. We've said before, but we just want to emphasize it here, don't limit video to recruiting. You can bring your positioning to life. Here we're going to look at a video for Fragaman. Now, we didn't do the video. We actually wrote the script and storyboarded the thing, and they had their own great videographer. But I want, as I play this and it gets going, and I will cut it quickly through here, once again, be mindful of how you're feeling about this, and let's look at it in the end.
More and more of us have customers, operations, supply chains, and opportunities that span borders, time zones, and cultures. It's the way business works in our small world. But as distances shrink, the challenges of having your people in place, where and when you need them, just keep getting bigger. Take, for example, a growing global manufacturer who wishes to expand its business into.
So I find this an interesting video for a number of reasons. Obviously, we have to take our share of the blame as well as the credit. There's a lot that I really like about this, but if you were looking at that timer on the left-hand side, 19 seconds had passed before a single word was spoken. That's well outside of our 10-second envelope. If you hark back to the Bingham, you'll notice that the individual, the managing partner, Jay Zimmerman, who was speaking, just jumped right into it, and there was absolutely no delay whatsoever. So I've got to understand that the seconds that I'm doing this work are precious, and I really need to get with the program very quickly. All right, back to where we're going. We want to introduce the firm in a spirited way if we can. We saw that the Fragaman video there as well. Here for PricewaterhouseCoopers. They're introducing the firm not through the managing partner, not through a fast pace. By the way, that Fragaman video, what it has going for it, all stock footage, incredibly fast cut. It's a piece of editing tour de force with the voiceover. Lots of talent was interviewed for the voiceover in order to pull that thing together. Here, we're actually using CEOs from other companies that are delivering stories here. So let's take a look at what this particular CEO has to say. I don't care. I've already been through 15 seconds of introduction. I've got a title card. I've got a little bit of, that was preliminary typographical introduction here. This is where videos can fail. By the way, when he gets on, he actually has some interesting things to say. It's dangerous using other CEOs because you get what you get, and not everybody's going to be Brad Pitt on this on these videos. But using CEOs to tell the story that are your clients, brilliant. Absolutely do that. All right, so we can explain how we also approach our work. Here's an example of Archer Norris, 150 so law firm out in California, in the major cities of California, talking about that. And this is fairly classic. I want to show and share a couple of points about this video even before we look at it. First of all, this is really important to this firm that it's a California firm. So there's an establishing shot from their offices in Walnut Creek right from the get-go. And I want you to notice that some of the cuts, we experimented with cuts so that rather than having sharp cuts, you'll see sharp cuts here, rather than having just sharp cuts, we also had cuts where the cuts melded one into the other. Take a look. Here's your establishing shot.
Appellate practice begins long before a
Here's
notice
the
of
bleed.
appeal is filed. And at
Fade
Archer
in.
Norris, our appellate lawyers are involved assisting trial counsel at all stages of a case. One of the challenges we face as appellate counsel is that we're sometimes brought in when trial is already underway. Trial lawyers are under an enormous amount of pressure, and they keep a lot of plates in the air.
So I'm not going to play this whole thing. I know that we're running out of time, but I think if you were to see it, you would see it does a pretty good job of talking about appellate trial work. And in this particular case, it's kind of like trial lawyers on demand. So it's got a tough message to explain, but seems to do it within the context, well, in our mind, within the context of what they should to do. So in lending passion to your mission, okay, and stop that for a second. This is Burkey Belser. So we were thinking about how do I communicate to employees and how do I communicate to the outside world what our mission is and we have a mission statement, and this is nothing more than reading the mission statement. But it's the way that it's designed and the way that it's filmed that make this, in my mind, interesting.
Compromise neither your own artistic integrity nor your client's goals. This is the secret to superior marketing communications.
Read, study,
be curious, and more informed than your competitors.
Search for fundamentals. This is the secret to understanding why things work the way they do.
Persist until you have one right answer. This is the secret to growth as a professional.
Love your work, have fun.
Make as much money as you honestly can.
This is one secret of happiness.
But I think you get the idea. So as we listen to all of these videos and look at them, what we imagine about video is that I've got the lawyer in his office, or as the Archer Norris thing, talking about the appellate practice, or the accountant doing a similar kind of thing, talking about transfer taxes, etc. It doesn't have to be that. It could be anything, and you should be open to the anything and put those videos of anything anywhere, all across your site, through email, etc. Finally, invest in case studies. We don't have this here to show, but I just wanted to say that case studies are a terrific place for you to put your time and attention. And so that's a bit like the CEO speaking from CEO perspectives, but you can have the individual, you can create videos of case studies that are going to have much more power than the simple telling of the case study on your site. Video, film, as it were, is not your only option, and I want to share with you just a couple of animations here. This one, AASHTO, is the American Society for American Association of State and Highway Transportation Officials, that was launching a rebranded
program recently
software.
The look and feel of the branding
The animation showed the name change in the software as well as the full suite of software and as it was introduced. Obviously, the highway is appropriate. You go and you go from the old brand to the new, and then you start to introduce the new suite. It's a complicated suite of software. This very short clip allows viewers, users, as well as those that want to use the software to understand what it's all about. All right. More famously, Womble Carlyle's dog was recreated using computer CG animation. These ads would appear in hotels. They would appear in hotels. They appear in office buildings throughout in the elevators. They just talk just quickly about the firm's capabilities in this regard. There's another one. Totally fun, by the way, that if you've got a mascot like Winston here, 90% of your effort is going to be in creating a credible and believable mascot, just like the Affleck duck. That's where you're challenged. So finish with polish. This is the end to our own video. It's a little piece of animation that we use where I'm trying to encourage clients to create their own ending piece for their event, not a beginning. Remember, we've already seen we got to get started on our animation, but we can end consistently and persistent. Done. All right. Finally, I promised that we'd take a quick look at Ken Mall's new site that is Chicago Lawyer, entirely video throughout. You click on, he wanted to create a legal news network so that you could get free legal information, safety tips, etc. And you go within the site and you're going to see Ken Mall talking about these issues. And they, in this case, we didn't do the video, they rented an entire studio like an ABC News studio with him in that giant space talking about issues that are important in his mind to clients, plaintiffs, individuals about issues, safety issues that he believes will then drive traffic, obviously, to his site. So there's a lot going on here. There's a lot to see. There's a lot to learn about video. We really appreciate your time and attention. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, for attending our webinar. Have a great day.